The following is a Talkin' Buds podcast special presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, the bar is open. Come on in and join the Buds for a Maple Leafs postseason pint.
My friend Harry and I would like to buy you guys a round of beers.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
Wash it down with 1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers.
This is the Talking Buds podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to our first postseason pint in a very, very long time. The bar is open. Pour yourself a cold one. You are probably going to need it after that game. Ryan, if anyone listened to our previews of this series and all our talk about the Columbus Blue Jackets, I think it's safe to say that our worst fears were just realized in Game 1 of that series. The Maple Leafs falling 2-0 to the Blue Jackets, down 1-0 in their best-of-5 series. You lose one game and your back is to the wall.
Jackets in 3, Leafs in 5. That is what I said, and even though this is the postseason pint, I gotta go with something a little more stiff tonight after that one. I got a gin and soda.
Oh my God.
I'm skipping the pints tonight because everything that we talked about and everything we thought that might happen happened tonight. Like, it looked like...
Yep.
First of all, like, let's just get into the game right now. That was one of the most sloppy, boring hockey games I've ever watched in my entire life. And it looked like the Columbus Blue Jackets didn't even break a sweat. Like, it literally looked like they just clogged up the middle of the ice, kind of just filled in lanes, put in spaces. Leafs were trying to do this, do that, and they just kind of sat back, did nothing, and then they had their one opportunity, put the puck in the net. And that's exactly what we said going into the series that they had to do. The Jackets were just going to play their game, and once they got that chance, they're going to pot it.
They executed to perfection. There no two ways about it. Yeah. No two ways about it. They did exactly what they need to do. They stifled the Maple Leafs all night. We'll get into the individual performances of the team as we go along here, but yeah, it was frustrating to watch, man. Like they are a defensive powerhouse. They clog up the middle of that ice. There was nothing. Matthews had the one shot in the slot tonight that Korpisalo stoned him on with the glove save. There was nothing up the middle of the ice tonight. They executed to perfection. I'm going to say that 100 times on this episode. They put on a defensive clinic, and the Leafs just had no answer.
No, and we were exchanging texts all game, and you said it perfectly. If the Toronto Maple Leafs can't do what they want to do, then it's just game over. And if they are having any adversity and they have to adapt their game plan in any sort of way, they don't do it. They just don't do it. I don't understand. It's like you can't. After the second period, like going into third period, like you know what their game plan is. You have to adjust. You're not that good to just thwart their game plan. Like Tortorella knows what he's doing. Those guys have all bought in to what their system is. Like their system is better than your system. So you're going to have to adjust your own game because dude, they're going to be gone in 3 straight if they go in and try to do the same thing they did tonight.
Yep, by the time if they do the same thing they did tonight, Thursday night will roll around and we'll be doing our final postseason pint.
Yeah, like watch when anyone just go back and look at the highlights. Like the Leafs get the puck in the Jacket zone and they're just on the perimeter. And then they're below the goal line. There's one guy, like say Hyman's down there, and then there's 2 Jackets swarming them. They take the puck. They're out of the zone like nothing. Yeah. Like it was just easy for them. It was so easy. Yeah.
Because the Leafs don't know how to grind and adjust. And so the way you have to play a team like Columbus is there is nothing in the middle of the ice. So you have to make space for yourself in the middle of the ice. That means not being afraid to get in there and get knocked around a little bit and create some quality scoring chances, and the Leafs don't want to do that. Like they want to pass, rifle it past the goalie, pretty highlight reel goals, and it's like you can't beat a team like Columbus playing that way. And I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but like if this series doesn't go in the Maple Leafs' favor, it's time to take a good, hard, long look at the makeup of this team, because like you just said, and like I said to you earlier, they just keep trying the same things over and over again. It's infuriating to watch. And let's talk about some of the individual performances tonight. So let's start on the positive. I thought Austin Matthews was the Leafs' best forward tonight.
By a mile. By a country mile, he was their best player. It wasn't even close.
I thought he had Werenski and Jones draped all over him all night. They made it miserable for him, and I thought he was by far their best forward tonight. I thought once again the Kerfoot, Kapanen, Robertson line was pretty good. Speedy little line. They had the same issues everyone else had. Couldn't get quality scoring chances. The fourth line barely played. And that brings us to John Tavares, Mitch Marner, and Ilya Mikheyev. I'm going to exclude Mikheyev in this because I thought he was okay. I thought Tavares looked like he was 1,000 years old and skating with cement in his skates. And I think Mitch Marner was infuriating to watch tonight.
He was awful, man. He was bad. He was terrible. John Tavares was you could have thrown me out there, man.
Yeah.
He was a non-factor. That line was terrible. Just terrible, man.
They were terrible all game long.
Like, I can't believe the amount of Mitch Marner needs to get it through his head that every single play or every single goal you set up does not have to be on the SportsCenter top 10. Like, you can get dirty goals. You can find ways to chip in, get assists on grinding goals. The guy just tries to throw the most legend pass every time he has an opportunity to score.
There was a handful of instances tonight where he chose to make a pass when he had a clear lane to take a shot.
He's just so into himself.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. There was one play towards the end of the game there where they're on the forecheck in the Blue Jacket zone, and Marner gets the puck and he passes it to Matthews, who's like coming across the center of the ice and is not ready for the pass, so he accepts it on his wrong hand. Marner gets the puck back and then shoots it into the corner. And I literally slammed my hand down on my footrest here in front of my couch and was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I thought overall, I thought everyone looked like they're playing their second game of like in the last 4 months. Like, it was sloppy, it was slow. Guys didn't look in shape. They didn't look like they were in the flow of things. It was choppy. Even some of the Blue Jackets play wasn't that great either. They just have a system that you can play without being in shape or playing 100 miles an hour. But the Leafs, man, like they were. I thought every single player except Austin Matthews was pretty bad tonight. Pretty bad. And the Blue Jackets, if they had any sort of offensive talent that, like the Dreisaitl's of the world, if they had anyone like that, or they still had Panarin, and like they would dominate on the scoreboard. But they don't need to because they don't have those guys, and they just play the exact game they need to play to win. And this is a horrible, like everything I said, horrible matchup. That's tonight a perfect example why that's a horrible matchup.
Yeah,
like it's so discouraging. Like, especially, I want to give these guys a break because whatever. Like, you had a whole layoff and now it's playoffs and it's tough, but everybody's in the same position. You're still a professional hockey team. You still make millions of dollars. You still are out there to do a job. And I just thought tonight
Ryan,
was just...
What is it? Is it talent? Like, this is what I don't understand. Is it talent? Is it inexperience? Is it just the makeup of the team? Like, why are you unable to make an adjustment? Like, why are you unable to just sit and go, okay, they're forcing us to the perimeter. most of our chances are one and done, not quality scoring chances. Someone needs to be prepared to go into the middle of the ice and take a shot in the back or whatever, and we got to grind in there. I hate using the word grind because it sounds like you know who, but we got to grind to get in there and try and create something. They don't do it. They don't do it unless their opponent is willing to play the run and gun 6-5 hockey. This team can't cope. They can't.
No, this franchise has as we've heard a million times, an organizational philosophy on offense and puck possession. And it's like, dude, you could pass the puck D to D or go hit the red line, pass it back to the D to create space. Okay, that's possession. You have the puck. But it's not good possession. It's just having the puck. You're not doing anything with that possession. Like, the possession in the ozone is atrocious. Like, sometimes they can get a little bit of a cycle going, like Matthews and Nylander kind of got a bit of a cycle going tonight sometimes. And same with Kerfoot. But, like, they get in the zone, man. I feel like they have to just, even though you're risking an odd man rush on the other end, I feel like in the ozone, they have to take a chance on putting two forwards on the puck all the time. Because if you're going to have one guy forechecking and then a guy hanging out in the high slot and then the other guy just kind of waiting for the back pass behind the net, like, they're just going to swarm you, take the puck, and they're going to be out of the zone. Like, you're going to have to take not breakaway risks, but like risks of just kind of an on-man rush going the other way, because you kind of have to get two guys in on the forecheck against this team because they just take the puck so easily.
That happened all night long tonight. What you just described happened for 60 minutes tonight.
Yeah, like, it's just, and you're going to, like, tonight, they didn't even, what I'm saying, like, they might give up chances, but tonight they didn't play like that, and they still gave up a bunch of chances.
Yep.
And I thought the only positive of the night was Freddie Anderson. I thought Freddie Anderson was fantastic.
The Atkinson goal was a little soft, but I agree with you.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, excellent. One goal, I'll take one goal. Like, your goalie's going to give up one goal? That's not good enough? Like, that's a problem, man. Dude, you're watching this team tonight. It's like, oh, this team is so garbage. Like, they're just not even close. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Just the negativity is just out of this
I know.
bro. Like,
well, it's true. It just makes you so mad watching them play like that. It's like, it's so, like, we love them. We do a podcast about them. We love them. We're diehards, but it's true. You're watching and you're just like, oh my God. Like, I was just about to ask you about the defense. Like, I thought Morgan Riley was the only defenseman who played well tonight. I thought everyone else sucked.
He's the only defenseman like capable of playing well.
Yeah, I thought the Muzzin and Hole pairing was atrocious.
Awful.
Jake Muzzin was my beauty of the week earlier this week. He's gone from the penthouse to the outhouse. He was horrible tonight. So was Justin Hall. So was Cody Ceci. So was the biggest waste of Maple Leaf ice this season, Tyson Barrie. And so was your boy Travis Dermott. He was pretty awful tonight too. But defense is different because they're just, like, when you look at their forwards, it's sort of a lack of offensive system and determination, I want to say. Whereas when you look at defense, it's just like they just don't have enough talent. There's just not enough talent back here.
Yeah, I thought up and down. The Kerfoot line came out pretty strong in the first period. I thought Robertson had a couple good chances and Kapanen was okay, but Kerfoot and Robertson were kind of clicking. And then I thought after the first period, they kind of went to sleep. I think Nick Robertson, my biggest takeaway from him in this game is the guy just needs a little bit more man strength. The amount of times that guy was on his ass tonight was shocking. But I thought he got on the forecheck pretty hard sometimes. But, man, just not a good game all around for all of them. Like, just not a good game.
Yep. I think the story of game one is the inability to make an adjustment.
But the thing about tonight, too, is just like, I'm not surprised at all. Like, this just feels like a normal rant podcast for us.
It's so funny because, like, you go months and months without watching the games and you're just like, you miss it and you're like, oh God, Leafs hockey. And then, like, halfway through that game, I'm just like, oh my God, this team infuriates me.
Dude, listen to all our episodes over the past 2 years. We have one episode where it's just like this, just losing our minds. The next episode, they rattle off a good win and they're like, oh, we're about, like, this is just another Maple Leaf episode of this Talking Buds podcast where they just sucked and we are just negative because, dude, that was horrible, man.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to win this series and go play the Bruins now? Like the Caps after that?
Yeah.
Like,
the Philadelphia Flyers?
Yeah. But, dude, even the Bruins, like, I watched a bit of that game today. The Bruins lost that game, but, man, that team is a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
You know, when we did our Blue Jackets like preview episode, you talked about the Werenski and Jones. Man, oh man, were you right?
Yeah, they're disgusting.
Yeah, like they Austin Matthews couldn't go anywhere tonight without one of those two guys all over him.
Yeah, they are just absolutely disgusting. They could both skate. They both jump in the rush like crazy.
The thing when you watch, and if I was Kyle Dubas or Sheldon Keefe, the thing that would drive me most nuts, and this isn't just exclusive to the game tonight. You see it all the time with teams that play the Leafs. You saw it in the last two series against the Bruins. They don't respect them. Like they're just like, this team's not going to adjust. Like we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. You guys just keep trying to score. If one gets by Korpisalo from the periphery, that's our fault. But we'll just keep doing what we're doing. Like there's no do they look like they're threatened? Do they look like they're scared on their heels? No.
I honestly think that most NHL teams would be pretty happy with this matchup. Like,
yes.
What's hard about playing the Leafs? What's difficult about that?
You have to.
All you have to do is just work harder than they do, which is pretty much an automatic at this point, and just make sure you clog the middle. If you watch tonight's game, clog the middle, you win, no problem.
All right. Any other thoughts you want to share before we do Bum and Beauty?
Yeah, I just wonder sometimes when I'm watching tonight's game and going through all this, I'm so down in the dumps, man. Like, what I'm about to say is just so over the top, but I really don't care.
Listen, Ryan, there's no way you can be more over the top than Paul Maurice has been these last 24 hours, so don't worry about it.
I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, we did this whole rebuild. We got our first overall pick. We got a couple high draft picks, and it's just, I don't think this team's ever going to win a Stanley Cup ever again. Like, I'm just like, I really don't think this franchise is ever going to see the Stanley Cup ever again.
I think like
this is a joke, man. Like, what are we?
Listen, there's still lots of time.
Not this, dude. They're not winning a thing.
No, Ryan, I don't. Do I think they're gonna go on a cup run this year? Probably not. Listen to us. We're just the negative.
I'm sorry, man. But it's just, I don't want to be too bad because really they're only like an Austin Matthews shot away from winning that game. You know, like it's not like. Yeah. Like if Matthews pots that one timer, it's a completely different hockey game. Like it's just it's a game of inches and bounces and things can change so quickly. But it's like we just knew this was gonna happen. Like I just knew it, and it's just so irritating that they can't do anything about it. And any team that game plans against the Leafs and has that grinding ability. Like they're screwed. Like they just can't. They don't have a chance. It's gonna be a tough time. They can't break through, and I just want them to figure it out, man.
Well, that's why, again, not to get ahead of myself, but like if this series doesn't go in their favor, it's time for Kyle Dubas to take a real philosophical look at what he's doing here and being like, you're losing because your team can't adjust and can't handle teams that play a physical, defensive, structured game. Your team wants to play road hockey. And when the other team doesn't play road hockey, they don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's bad, man. They got all this talent, all this scoring ability, and it's just, you just know it's just not good enough. The way they play is just not good enough, and it's annoying. It's frustrating.
All right, on that note, let's move into Bum of the Night, Beauty of the Night. Hit the music.
It's time to find out who's a bum and who's a beauty.
Ryan, I think these choices are pretty obvious, so let's do... We've been pretty negative so far, so let's do beauty first. You go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take Freddie Anderson. Easy lockdown. Thought the guy, you know what? The goal kind of slid through that tough area of a goaltender's body between the pads and the blocker. It's a great place to shoot. Cam Atkinson he's a pretty good goal scorer. Like, he's no slouch. If your goalie's going to give you one goal, man, on 30-plus shots, I'll take that every day of the week. I thought Anderson looked so good, made huge saves, too. It's not like he wasn't tested. He made that massive save with his leg. I thought that's everything you needed out of Frederik Anderson. He gave you everything you needed, and I'm happy that the storyline is about them adjusting a game plan and not about Freddie Anderson was awful.
I've talked many times on this podcast about how big of a fan of Austin Matthews I am, and how some nights I watch him and I want him to be a force, shift in and shift out. And some nights I don't see it. And tonight I totally saw it. I thought he was excellent. He was by far their best, most dangerous forward all night long. He had those two beasts on the Blue Jackets blue line all over him all night, and he just dealt with it. I thought it was a pro tonight.
He worked hard, man. Like he worked hard. He forechecked. He took pucks from guys. He had the puck. He had opportunities. He had all the opportunities.
I thought he was a pro tonight. I thought he was awesome. And if he's gonna play like that, I like their chances.
Yeah, he was great, man. I can't say enough about his game tonight. I thought he was phenomenal.
Okay, there's two standouts in the bum of the night category. So you'll probably do a better job ranting and raving about it than I will. So do you want to take 16 or do you want to take 91?
No, okay, I'm taking 91. 16. Yeah, John Tavares, man. If he's gonna play like he played tonight, it's the biggest waste of $11 million I've ever seen in my entire life. Like it was bad. Like he
literally did
there,
nothing.
Man. I have all the respect in the world for this man. I think he's had a great NHL career. I love the guy he is. The guy probably works his bag off in the gym, off the ice. Probably a good guy in the dressing room, good leader. No slouch, but man, you're making $11 million. You're the captain. You're supposed to be a difference maker here to put this team in the conversation with a Washington and the Bruins, and he just looked like a bum out there tonight. He looked terrible. He looks like he was way past his prime. It looks like he was ready to go. Looks like he's ready for retirement, man. He was terrible. You and said
he looks 100 years old. He couldn't keep up. Yeah,
he looks terrible.
No,
it's not good. Like, it's really not good that you have these guys who just they need to be elite, and they're just not. They're just not elite. They can't make a difference. He's always an arm's length away. He's always got a stick just there, but never gets behind. Yeah, that's it. And that's just, man, you can't have that from a guy who's supposed to be your best player. Like, I know Austin Matthews is supposed to be your best player, but man, John Tavares, you signed him for $11 million and made him the captain for a reason.
All right, you talked earlier about Mitch Marner and his obsession with trying to be on the highlight reel, game in and game out. For me, a huge part of that is just his utter refusal to shoot the puck. What is going on? Why will you not shoot the puck? There was 3 to 5 times tonight where he had an open lane to throw it at the net, and he just doesn't. Why? Why, Ryan? Why?
Because somewhere along the way, somebody gave him a reputation of being one of the best playmakers in the NHL, and he thinks that's unreal. He thinks he's the GOAT at that, and he wants to be a 100-point player every year by setting up his teammates for beauty goals and him just looking like a legend setting them up. And he's probably seen his own highlights and seen that he can make really great passes, but it's to the point where even like the broadcasters are like Craig Simpson said that like 3 times tonight. Like, Marner basically just passed that away. Wide open opportunity. What are you doing, dude? Like, what is your problem, man?
Like, what's your problem?
The only thing I can think of, and what I've said, is just he's bought into his own hype too much. He's listening to other people talk about how great of a playmaker he is, and now he's trying to live up to that hype. But, dude, you could score goals, man. I'm pretty sure you had 40 plus
that's
goals
the thing,
in the
Ryan.
O,
He's
and like
making
you're a
himself,
goal scorer
he's
too,
making
man.
himself like a non-factor offensively. It's like he's supposed to be one of the most, like when they talk about the big four, like he's supposed to be one of the most dangerous ones in that group, and he's a non-factor.
Yeah, and he must have either he buys into his own hype or he just is really insecure about his shot. He must think he doesn't have a good enough
but again,
shot. Because
this comes back to this team's mentality, inability to adjust. Excuse me. You're in the playoffs. Throw it at the net. Try and score.
Yeah.
This isn't the time for a highlight reel goal. It's do or die. Your season is on the line. Stop. Like, play with that sense of urgency.
yeah, there's none. There's
I'm
none,
yelling.
man. They don't know
I'm
how
yelling.
to like. Yeah, that's the main summary of this episode, of the first episode of the Postseason Pint, which I wanted to be positive. I wanted to come on here and be like, man, there's the team we were looking for. But instead, it's just the negativity is so over the top. And I almost want to listen back to this podcast after to see if we are being over the top. But to me, it doesn't feel like it right now.
So
As
I'm definitely
speaking.
being over the top.
Because it's just,
Yeah.
it sucks. Like, it just sucks, man. And it's getting to the point where even though they might win this series and they might lose the next one, it's just like the way this whole thing is going, this philosophy, the way these guys play, their ability to work hard and do what they have to do to beat other good hockey teams in this league. Like, I'm looking at it being like, they're not good enough. They're going to have to do something, like you said earlier. Like, that was terrible. That was just the worst way to start this thing tonight. It sucked. They got shut down. They got, how many shots they get? Like 28? How many good opportunities? Like one?
I've moved on in pages of my notebook. Let me find it. I had it written down. 28 shots. You're right.
Yeah. Like, how many? They had 3 good opportunities, maybe. The rest of them were just little dinky throw it at the net, which you got to throw it at the net. But, man, you got to work a little harder for better opportunities and create.
Well, we're gonna see going forward what Sheldon Keefe is gonna do. He's definitely saw the same things the rest of us saw tonight, and we saw him load up a line a couple times tonight. We saw him barely play his fourth line, so we know we're not dealing with Mike Babcock anymore. So it'll be interesting to see what adjustments he makes heading into Game 2 on Tuesday.
Well, you don't have a lot of wiggle room. That's the thing about this.
That's the thing. You lose Game 1 and your back's to the wall.
Yeah, your wiggle room is just like, dude, they get down 1-0 right away. See the Blue Jackets record when they score the first goal? You get down 1-0 in that next game, it's over. See you later. Like, they got some serious, and Keefe, he might have saw what happened, but can he do something about it?
Yeah.
Will he? Does he know how? Will Kyle Dubas just say, keep the possession? Like, I just don't believe at this point that unless they all just come out and have a better effort and just play better, I know it's their philosophy isn't going to change a whole lot. So you better hope everyone's showing up and going to play your philosophy the best way possible.
All right, before we get out of here, let's just comment on some of the other stuff going on around the league. So obviously the biggest news story coming out of day one was Paul Maurice's epic wah-wah he's having about Mark Scheifele getting a skate in the back of the leg that Paul Maurice claims is the most calculated, vicious thing he's ever seen from Matthew Tkachuk. When you watch it, and it's like, what are you talking about, sir?
It's just, I guess it's easy to blame a guy with that reputation in the league. I guess.
Ryan, listen, if you want to like carve him and say he's a dirty player, blah blah blah, fine. The hysterics. It is just a filthy, dirty, disgusting. It's okay, Paul. Okay,
he just knows he's screwed without his number one guy, so he's gonna go down with something. He just picked that, and he's gonna decide he's gonna go down with that.
So biggest takeaways from me. There's two ones I want to share. One, the Edmonton Oilers have the same defense issues as the Maple Leafs do, and far worse goaltending. So I don't know what you can have the best player in the world, but when you can't defend and you can't get a save, it means nothing. And my second take is the Philadelphia Flyers are legit.
Yeah, 100%, man. And whoever wants to face the Blues or the Avalanche in the playoffs,
have
good
fun.
luck. Good luck, because those are two damn good hockey teams, man. Whoa.
The Montreal Canadiens getting an overtime win over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I told you. They have that something in that jersey and that logo. There's some magic in there. There's winning magic in there. Unlike that dead maple leaf that's been crumpled. It hasn't grown back in a summer in
Crumpled.
years. Yeah. It just dies in the fall and stays dead in the winter. It hasn't been alive and probably will never be alive again. Because there's no magic in that sweater anymore.
Just a crumpled up maple leaf.
Yeah, there's the Habs out there putting together a good effort, beating a damn good hockey team in overtime. And here we are playing a worse team and just getting
Here we
dummied.
are doing our...
And just having...
Our
just basically playing hockey against a UFC wrestler. That's the equivalent. Just you're getting ground and pounded by this team.
Doing
like,
our
it's just,
first
it's
postseason
terrible.
pint in forever, and we're just pissed off for 30 minutes.
Yeah. And everybody listening should be pissed off, too.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Does suck. Well, game 2 goes on Tuesday. Weird start time, 4 p.m. So that'll be interesting for everybody. Sort of a day-ish game there. I don't know. We could talk about what we think they need to do, but I think we just spent 30 minutes talking about it.
We just need to go out and get it done. Find a way to get it done.
I agree with Ryan. Yes, we were very upset and negative today, but if you're listening to this episode, you should be angry too, because enough's enough with this. You can't play shinny every night. You got to go out there and battle and pick up a W and work harder. All right, let's get out of here before we get ourselves even more worked up than we already are. Thanks everybody for downloading this week's Postseason Pint. We will see you after game 2.